Hey guys, so today I want to do a video talking more in depth about hypnobirthing. So I posted my labor and delivery vlog and I did a video on just talking about my labor and delivery story. So I'll link those down below and on the screen. But I had a lot of people asking to do a more in-depth of how I prepare for hypnobirthing, what exactly hypnobirthing is, and some of the things that I bought that I use for the hospital for my hypnobirth experience. So first, I wanted to do hypnobirthing. Well, I found out about it when I was looking up techniques that women use to overcome pain during labor and delivery, because I wanted to have a natural, unmedicated birth. One, because I wanted to not be drugged down, and then two, I actually had scoliosis surgery when I was in 7th grade, and I didn't want anything going in my back for fear of back pain after having an epidural, because I've heard of many women still having back pain from where they put the epidural, so I definitely didn't want anything going in my back. So I started looking up ways that women cope with pain during labor and delivery, and then I stumbled upon the word hypnobirthing. At first I was like, hypnobirthing, this is a bunch of crock, people don't really get hypnotized, so how are you going to be hypnotized and give birth at the same time? So I put it off, and I was like, why do I keep seeing this word hypnobirth? Every time I saw it, I was like, are you kidding me? There's nothing else that people do to help with pain. So finally I said, okay, let me just look up what hypnobirthing is. So when I looked it up, I was like, oh, so you're not really hypnotized. It's more of a focused mind meditation type of thing leading up to labor and delivery and during labor and delivery. So I was like, okay, this is actually something that I can look into. So when I found out what hypnobirthing is, it essentially is having your mind in a meditative state and having your mind focused and releasing fear, releasing pain, and just putting your mind at ease and knowing that your body was made to do this. And many people before have done birth without medications and interventions. So you doing this now is nothing extraordinary, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like repositioning your mind into knowing that you can do this, your body was made for this. Keep your mind focused and release any fear, any tension, any thoughts of having a negative birth experience. So with hypnobirthing, with releasing all that fear, anxiety, we like to change up words that people commonly use for labor and delivery. So labor is a word that I think people try to not say, and I think they just say a journey, I forget the word they use, but if I remember, I'll put on the screen. But they don't use the word labor. They don't use the word contraction. So we actually use the word surge, because literally a contraction is like a wave of intense pressure and then it goes away. So we call it a surge. So we don't use the word contraction. When you're talking to someone else that's doing hypnobirthing, you shouldn't use the word contraction. Another thing that we use is, so there's surges, pain. So we don't use the word pain. You're not allowed to use the word pain when we're talking to someone with hypnobirthing. So we just use the word pressure. So, oh, I had a lot of pressure, during this last surge, or this pressure was a little bit more in the last surge that I had, So that's how we like to talk, because it kind of takes away the negative connotation, the negative mind, the negative thoughts of labor and delivery, because it's not a negative experience at all. With hypnobirthing, you're just literally taking back control of labor and delivery. With modern medicine, there's been a lot of new discoveries and new medications and new ways of practice with labor and delivery. So hypnobirthing kind of takes back the control of the mother during that time. So with that, we like to limit medical interventions during labor and delivery, be very knowledgeable of the whole process of labor and delivery, and speaking up for yourself and advocating for yourself and knowing exactly what you want and trying to, because the thing is labor and delivery is unpredictable, but trying to be present and take control of all the things that are going to be happening during that time. Hypnobirthing really empowers you, gives you mental, physical, and spiritual strength when going into labor and delivery. And that's what I love about hypnobirthing, is that it empowers you. You know, labor and delivery is something, it's a miracle. It's something that we women go through, and it's like, wow, like I went through this, I did this for my baby, my body did this for my baby, you know, God made me like this, you know. So it's kind of just bringing back our awareness of how empowering this whole experience is. And then with hypnobirthing, it's good to have a lot of positive affirmations. So in the hypnobirthing community, we like to give each other positive affirmations, because it's good to have that, helps you with focusing your mind during labor and delivery. So there's a whole slew of positive affirmations, and I will share I have a document of positive affirmations. I'll put that down below, but a couple of them are like, my body was made for this, I can't wait to see my baby, I can do this, I'm more powerful than this pressure that I'm experiencing. What's another good one? I will soon meet my baby will come soon, all this is for the coming of my baby. You know, just things that you can say to yourself during labor and delivery to help you get your mind at ease, get your mind out of fear, out of anxiety during labor and delivery. And you have to practice these affirmations way before labor and delivery, like leading up to it. So if you're still early in your pregnancy, or even late, it's never too late to practice hypnobirthing and learn about it. It's good to get your mind and keep practicing. Hypnobirthing is all about practicing all of these things, so that when it's showtime, we know what to do, and we know what things will help us during any type of say hiccup, or any type of, you know, change in labor and delivery. The first thing that I suggest if you want to practice hypnobirthing is first learn about every single detail and every single stage of labor till delivery and after. So pre-labor, prodromal labor, active labor, and post-delivery. I think that it's, and for me, I didn't know the science behind, you know, what our bodies do to get ready for baby to deliver. So it's kind of like, you need to know so that you know what's happening during stages of labor and delivery, and you know what's coming next, and you know that, okay, this part of labor, you know, is only this long, the next part will be like this, you know, so you know what's coming. When you're more prepared, like I feel like the fear and the unknown is like gone from your mind. So what I did to learn about those stages of labor and delivery, I actually read a book by mongan, and it's the Mindful Birth, I think is what it's called. I'll put it on the screen, but it's by mongan, and that book was a really good gateway into getting ready for the actual labor and delivery, because I didn't read the book until 30 weeks, or I think, or 30 or 36 weeks is when I read the Marie Mongan book. And that book got in detail of the whole science about delivery, the things your body does, how long each stage of delivery is, what happens during delivery, what you're going through delivery, what your baby's going through during labor and delivery. So I love that book. It was a great start to like my active learning about active practice for hypnobirthing. So I started hypnobirthing at around 20 weeks, like 15-20 weeks. And what I did was just meditation. I learned how to meditate in the car, going to work and back from work. And that's like a good way to start, is like learning to meditate, learning to be within yourself, within your thoughts, to drown out all the things that are around you and just think to yourself, you know. So during that time, from 15 weeks till I delivered, I didn't listen to the radio in my car at all. So I literally don't know any of the hottest new songs that are out right now, because I was meditating every day in the car. And even sometimes I'll be driving with my husband, I'll be like, can I put on my meditation tracks, you know, in the car? So I use Spotify for my meditation tracks, and they were like nature sounds, kind of like tonal music, rain sounds, storm sounds, like white noise. But I really love the nature sounds, the storms, the rain. I love those because it just like, ooh, makes you just be like this. So my drive to work was actually 45 minutes. So I had a good 45-minute meditation after work, same thing. And these help with just thinking, you know, all the things that you're learning about hypnobirthing, just think about it. What I did during my meditation time was I daydreamed about what exactly would happen when my baby was being delivered, you know. So I visualized like the nurses, I visualized my hospital room, I visualized Chris, my husband, I visualized my mom being there, I visualized my sister being there, I visualized how I would feel, I visualized, you know, like going through surges, going through, you know, labor. I visualized my baby coming out. I visualized what would it be like when I see my baby out. I visualized holding my baby. I visualized what my baby would look like. I visualized the happiness I would see on like my husband and my mom's face. You know, like I literally daydreamed detail about what my delivery would be like, and my delivery was exactly what it was when I was daydreaming. Like there was nothing different about what I dreamed about, like my baby coming out, me whole, like it was exactly what I dreamed about. And you know, the whole thing about manifesting things in the universe is like, if you think about it, if you dream about it, it'll come. So that's exactly what happened for me. So during meditation, I just daydreamed about myself, my baby delivery, what it would be like, my happiness, how it would feel. And it just helped me put my mind just at a different calm state. Hypnobirthing, if you break it down, it's visualization, relaxation, and breathing techniques. Those are like the core things about hypnobirthing. So visualization, as I told you, I was daydreaming about my birth. You visualize that, visualize, like they said, flowers opening up. That's like your uterus pushing out your baby. So visualize like flowers opening up, visualize a kaleidoscope, visualize, you know, actually what it would be like your baby coming out, visualize what your baby would be like visualize what you like if you were a baby, what would it be like coming out into the earth, you know, visualizations. Even with hypnobirthing, there's a lot of visualization like cards on Pinterest that people print out and put on their visualization board for labor. A lot of it's flowers, just beautiful imagery to help you keep your mind focused and off of any feeling that you would be feeling physically during labor and delivery. So relaxation. So with relaxation, I use my rain sounds to relax myself. Breathing techniques help with relaxation. Positive affirmations help with relaxation. And then with the breathing techniques, there's two different breathing techniques. There's the up breathing, and then there's the down or J breathing. During the early parts of labor, you would do the up breathing. So it would be, now I kind of forget. Yeah, so the up breathing would be like, it's like in for 4, out for 8, something like that. I'll put it on the screen. But it's just breathing with your chest, you know, like just breathing up, breathing down. And that helps get you through the intense surges or the intense pressure during contractions. So just breathe in with your nose, out through your mouth. And that type of breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, helps with relieving any feelings of any pressure, pain during contractions. So sometimes when I was in my own labor and delivery, I knew how to breathe, but I was like, let me see what it feel like if I just breathe in through my nose, out through my nose, or in through my mouth, out through my mouth. And when I did that, it's like I felt like this, like you feel out of tune, and like you feel the pain, you know what I mean? So I was just like, oh my gosh, like really this technique really works. In through your nose, out through your mouth. The next breathing is the J breathing, and the J breathing is supposed to literally be like a J, like you breathe your baby down and out. So with this one, you kind of really have to visualize the J and visualize your uterus opening up, visualize your cervix opening up, visualize your baby coming out. So you breathe in, and then you kind of just push the air down and out. The other one, the up breathing, is in. This one, the J breathing, in, out. And like you have to visualize that out. In my delivery vlog, I showed a clip of like when I was like moaning, like that moaning helps, like you kind of your vocal cords are vibrating, and then it helps open up everything for the baby to come out. So when I was doing that noise, it wasn't that it was painful, it was that I was trying to just open myself up, visualize the J, have my down breathing, and breathe my baby out. So and it helped. It helped because when you make that like sound, your body opens up like naturally. So it helps with, you know, getting the baby down the birth canal. Also remember, if I didn't say this before, like hypnobirthing, your body was made for this. So those are the two things. There's two things that I kept telling my main positive affirmations for myself. 3 main positive affirmations for myself was, I am made for this. My body was made for this. 2, I am stronger than these contractions. I'm stronger than this pressure. And then 3, I told myself that there's nobody on this earth that's stronger than me. So if I believe I'm the strongest person on this earth, I can get through labor and delivery just like that. So those are the 3 things I kept telling myself. I was made for this. My body was made for this. I am stronger than this pressure, these contractions, these surges, and I am stronger than anybody on this earth. And I remember in my labor, during my labor in the hospital, the nurse kept asking me like, oh honey, do you want pain meds? And I was like, no, I'm strong. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I don't know anybody stronger than me. And she was like, oh, okay then, you're good to go. And I was like, yeah, you know, I wasn't afraid to tell anybody that there's nobody stronger than me, because even in that room, I'm like, I bet there's no woman in this room, because the nurses were in there and the midwife that delivered a baby without epidural. So if I said I can, I know I'm stronger. You know what I mean? So just telling myself those things. So those affirmations are what I kept telling myself in the beginning, like, I'm made for this, I'm strong, nobody's stronger than me, you know. And it's like, if you really think about it, if women many years ago didn't even have the option for pain meds and they delivered babies just like that, if women in Nigeria, thinking about it, can deliver babies without pain meds, you know what I mean, why can't I? You know, why can't I? You know, if all these women that I know I'm stronger than physically can deliver babies without epidural, why can't I? You know, so I was like, nah, I can do this. I kept telling myself I can do this. So some of the things that I used during my practicing for hypnobirthing, I told you I have my Spotify playlist. I'll link the playlist down below. I read the Marine Mongan method book. I did the Positive Birth Company digital course online. That was the last thing last physical, or not physical, but last active learning thing that I did before I had my baby. And that digital course I did with Chris online, and it was very good. So I definitely recommend it, and it's very affordable. And then there were some apps. Yeah, so there's the GentleBirth app, the Freya app, and then there's a meditation app. So the meditation app just has guided meditations for you. So they have meditations for all the people that have anxiety, people that have depression, people that have social anxiety, people that are going through chemo. They have a lot of different guided meditations for different types of things you need, but they have one for birth and pregnancy. So the one for birth and pregnancy, they have this guided meditation. The popular one is rainbow meditation. So this lady, she takes you through the whole rainbow, but it's like rooms. So first you're in the red room, you visualize what the red room would look like, then transition into the orange room, then the yellow. So then when you're in the rooms, you just visualize what that color looks like in your mind, and then you visualize yourself there. And then usually people can pick what color they resonate with, or what they relate with most, or what color makes them feel the most calm, and then that's your labor or birth color. For me, I think mine was green. When I thought of the color green, I thought of renewal, birth, being in the meadows of grass, frolicking in the meadows of grass, rain, storm, trees, flowers. So that was like my color. So anytime I was in the green room during meditation, that was like my favorite. And I just thought about like beautiful things. Another next color that was I liked was, I think it was like yellow. And yellow, I thought of like beaches. I love beaches, so I thought of like beaches, the sand, the shore, the water, the sound of the waves going in and out, the warmth of the sun, you know. So it's like all those visualizations for like Hypnobirth. So that app has good meditation. The Freya app is what I used during my labor when I was at home. It's a guided meditation also. And then so you open the app and you start it, and it guides you through meditation. When you're having a surge, you press the middle button and say, are you having a surge? And the lady counts your contractions for you. And then when it's over, you press the button again and she goes back into the same meditation. So it's like literally having someone there going through it with you, but it's on the app. And then the app will tell you when it's time to go to the hospital. So that's a good segue into the whole the laboring. So with Hypnobirth, you want to have the least interventions. With least interventions, you don't want to be at the hospital too long, because the way the hospital is, they want to get you in and then get you out. They want to rush you, and I experienced that myself. So a good thing to do is labor as much as you can at home, so that when you get to the hospital, you're as far along as you can get, and you're not going through, you know, labor too much with all this medical stuff around you. So with the Freya app, when I went into labor at home, I put myself up in our bedroom. So I was in bedroom by myself. The lights were off. It was pitch black. Chris was downstairs, and he was waiting for me to tell him when it was time to, you know, time to go. And I just put on. So what I did first was, I had there's another contraction counter that I had app on my phone. So I started with that, and then when I started getting close to 3 to 5 minutes and it was getting more intense, I put on the Freya app to get my mind more focused. So when you're doing the whole contractions with the Freya app, the Freya app is timing your contractions for you and documenting it. So the app will tell you when it's time to go to the hospital, and the Freya app is built for people that are wanting to do hypnobirthing. So you want to labor as much as you can at home. So my labor started around midnight, and then by 4:30 we started heading out to the hospital. So that's how long I would say my active labor was, like my beginning stage or active labor was. So around midnight my contractions started coming along, and I had the contraction timer. When it was getting more intense, I put on the Freya app, and then it was 3 to 5 minutes, and then the Freya app said it's time to go to the hospital. So another thing you can use that people use for during contraction at home is the flower hour. And it's like you can draw flowers with the petals and then time your contractions, and then when you get a certain amount of contractions in a minute within an hour, then that means it's time to go to the hospital. So we like to labor as long as we can at home. So I labored as long as I can at home, and then by the time I got to the hospital, I was 7 centimeters. Yes. So I was 7 centimeters. And good thing that I was able to labor long at home, because when I got to the hospital, I got from 7 centimeters to 10 took me hours. So imagine if I got to the hospital way beforehand. Anything could have happened. I could have had a C-section. They could have done so many interventions, you know. So I'm glad I labored as long as I could at home. Some women that labor till like I did, till like 7 centimeters, when they get to the hospital, they deliver the baby within an hour and they're out. You know what I mean? So labor as long as you can at home. Make sure you have all the gadgets you need to labor. And I'll get into things that you can buy to help you with the pressure and pain of contractions. All right, my baby woke up. So he's down here in my lap. All right, so what was I gonna go into? All right, so the next thing that I feel like was the chunk majority and what really helped me the most with hypnobirthing. Chris is calling me, hold on. Where were we? Oh yeah, so I feel like the single thing that really helped me get ready and really get confident in myself was the hypnobirthing group on Facebook. That's just like a private community of women that are planning to do hypnobirthing, women that have done hypnobirthing, and we just share stories, share tips on what people used, what helped, what they did, how their labor and delivery went. and reading everyone's positive birth story. That's what we call it, like your positive birth story. We share those. So when you read other people's positive birthing stories, you learn what they use, you know, what things happened in delivery that they were able to overcome, and then them just doing it. You know, reading people's stories, it gives you so much confidence, lifts you up so much. Reading people's stories lift me up so much. I'm just like, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, so then with hypnobirthing, it's not just natural vaginal delivery. You can use it for induction, you can use it for VBAC, you can use it for scheduled C-section. So it's not just one way of delivering. And then a lot of people that practice hypnobirthing thinking they're going to be doing it one way, they end up doing another way. And then, you know, that might not be what you planned, but accepting it and being ready for it and getting your mind through it, and then still having a positive birth story at the end is all thanks to hypnobirthing. So with the Facebook group, we just share like tips, gadgets we use, what we did, positive affirmation cards, positive affirmation files of like words to use, and people use that, download it, type it up, you know, and make like boards, make like string garland to hang in the hospital or at home or in the birthing center. Yeah, so it's a great community to just share information, share tips and stuff, and to share stories. So I love that group. That group helped me so much. Ooh, sorry. Is my hair tickling your face? So once you decide that you want to do hypnobirthing and you start practicing, it's good to get your birth partners, or your birth partner involved, so they know what to expect. They know they be in the same type of mindset and the same focus and have the same goal as you, so that when you're laboring at home or in the birthing center or at the hospital, and maybe there's a time that you can't talk for yourself, like because you're in the middle of a surge or you're tired and you're sleeping, your birth partner will already know what you want, so they can relay the message to like the midwife or the doctors and nurses. So with hypnobirthing, it's good to have a birth plan written out. It can be detailed, it can be simple. My birth plan, I didn't write it out, but it was pretty simple. It was I just want to be left alone and to labor on my own. I don't want any medication, no epidural, and I wanted the people in the labor and delivery would be like my mom and my husband, and that's it. That was my birth plan. People can type up birth plans and post it on the door outside of their room. They can type it up and pass it out to the nurses and the doctors on the floor, or you can just say it, you know, to whoever the staff is there. So you can just determine how you want to relay your birth plan, and make sure your partner knows exactly what's on their birth plan also. So going back to having your partner be involved in you getting ready for hypnobirthing, so that they can advocate for you, you know, as I said, in the hospital or wherever you're at, and they know what's going on. So Chris didn't read the book with me, but after I read the book, I kind of summed it up for him and told him what I read in it, and kind of taught him some of the things that I learned about delivery. And then when we did the Positive Birth Company digital pack online, then we did that one together online. And I loved how he was like really into it. He learned about it and he started using the terminology, how we're supposed to and stuff like that, like surges, pressure, which was good. And I loved it, and it was a great experience. So Chris kind of knew what was going on. He knew what I wanted, so he kind of just let me do my thing in the delivery room. So in the beginning stages of when we were in our delivery room, you know, he just sat in the chair and just did, you know, just kind of just did his own thing, just let me do my own thing, and I was fine. I was perfectly fine. I didn't need him to be right next to me. I didn't need him to do anything for me. And then it wasn't until there's a time that I actually had the nurses suggest for me to take Pitocin, because I was progressing from 7 to 10 slowly, and it was my first baby, so that's not uncommon to have happen. So they said, did you want to have Pitocin? And at first I was like, not right now. And then I thought about it, talked about it with my mom and my dad. So my dad is a cardiologist, my mom's a pharmacist. And then I decided on my own when I wanted it. What did you do? Oh, Kamsi literally just deleted my list of hypnobirthing. And good thing that this thing saves. Boy, I had all my notes here. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so Chris was in the room with me, but he just kind of left me alone and let me do my own thing, which was good. And it wasn't until, oh yeah, talking about Pitocin. So I said when I was ready to have Pitocin, so I agreed to it, and they just gave me the smallest dose that they could, and they just gave me, I think they hit me 3 times with it, and then it helped a lot. And at first, you know, I was kind of, that's when, at that point in my labor, that's when I kind of was like, almost lost control. I almost lost control because I was like, if I have Pitocin, because you know Pitocin makes your contractions more stronger than natural contractions. So I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't have meds, I don't have anything, so will I be able to bear it, you know? So that was the time when I almost lost control, but I kind of got myself together, told my 3 affirmations to myself, reminded myself, and also there's a lot of women that go through induction with Pitocin that hypnobirth without meds. So I was like, so this is possible. And then, so that point is when I needed Chris to help me. So what I had him do was, at that time they gave me Pitocin, I was on the birthing ball in the hospital. So I had Chris sit on the bed and bring a pillow in his lap. And then I put on my my hypnobirthing tracks from my Spotify. Because from this time I got to the hospital, and then before Pitocin, my breathing techniques was all I needed. I was fine. So when they gave me Pitocin, I was okay, I need my hypnobirthing gadgets. So what I did was got my headphones, and then I put them on, and then I put on my meditation tracks on my Spotify, and then I put my head in the pillow that was in his lap, and I just did my J breathing during that whole time. And then finally I progressed to 10 centimeters. And then, so from all the tools that I brought that people usually use for hypnobirthing, my tracks and my headphones was the only thing that I physically used and what I needed. And I'll go through a list of the things that I brought that usually people use for hypnobirthing at the hospital or at the birthing center. So yeah, so with hypnobirthing, you want your environment to be nice and calm and quiet so that you can focus. If you have headphones, you can put your headphones in and put on your meditation tracks, but you still want your environment to be calm and focused. So a lot of people turn the lights out if they're at the hospital or at home or birthing center. They have the lights out. They light candles. To be safer, they have the electronic candles. And then they just have the birthing track maybe playing in the room. But if you have other people in the room and you just want it for yourself, because maybe other people might not want to listen to it, and you just put on your headphones. So for me, at first I thought I wanted the lights to be out. But when I got to the hospital, I was fine. And I got to the hospital early in the morning. So in the morning, the lights were out. But then eventually, when the sun came up, they put the lights on. But I was okay with the lights on. I was fine. But I wanted my atmosphere to be quiet. So Chris was quiet. And the nurses that kind of spoke to me low. I didn't talk too much. But when my mom came in, then, you know, the noise was a little bit louder because obviously, you know, African moms, they're just all over the place sometimes. But I was still okay. Sometimes when, and my dad was there too, sometimes when, like my dad, my mom, and my Chris would start chatting, their chatting would be a little loud, and I would tell them, like, can you please, like, you know, talk a little bit lower. And then when the nurses were kind of, before they gave me Pitocin, they were talking about failure to progress for me. And I heard a nurse say that, and I said, if you're going to be speaking about anything like that, can you please step out of the room and talk about it, you know, with my dad? Because I didn't want to hear any negative talking. I didn't want to hear anything about failure to progress, all this stuff. I just need to be in my mind, focused, and positive mindset. So anytime someone would talk loud, I would tell them to quiet down. Anytime they wanted to discuss any type of like medical stuff, I said, please leave the room, because I just needed to be in a great environment. And I was doing well. So after all that, when it was time for me to have my baby, I would say that contractions or surges are intense, but they're doable. You know, I I kept thinking to myself, if I fell and broke my leg or fell and broke my arm, that pain, I swear, is worse than having contractions or surges. That's what I think. Because honestly, the surges, they really just felt like pressure. They felt like waves of pressure, like pressure up and then it's gone. And I kept telling myself during a surge, like this too will pass, this too shall pass, this will pass, this will pass, this will pass. I just kept saying that it will pass, it will pass. So when it passed, excuse me, when it passed, then I would be like, release. I would say out, like not out loud, but I would say like to myself, like under my breath, relief. And the next surge, I'll be like, this will pass, this will pass, this will pass, this will pass. I'll say that in my head because I'm breathing, my breathing technique. So I'll just in my mouth, in my head, I'll be like, this will pass, this will pass. Doing my breathing in, out. And then when the contraction was over, I'd be like, release. Or I would say relief. So it helps, you know. My one friend, she said that when she birthed her baby, she kept pinching herself because pinching herself distracted her pain sensors to like where she was pinching. So that helps. And that's also a technique of using TENS machine, and I'll get into the tools you can use for hypnobirthing. So yeah, so I think that was all the things. So as I said, when I had contractions, it honestly was not when I thought about it, it wasn't the worst pain in the world. It was not. I feel like I've had really bad like gas, really bad constipation that was worse than contractions, I swear. So contractions just felt like pressure. It just felt like big pressure, and then it would release. So when it came time to start pushing, you know, they say pushing is actually, well, okay, let me go back. Transition from 7 to 10. So mind you, at the hospital, I was in transition a very long time. I think I was in transition the longest, you know, longer than actual, you know, like labor. So transition from 7 to 10, it honestly wasn't horrible. I just remember there were some contractions that were like woo, that was intense, you know. When they gave me Pitocin, you know, my contraction became more intense, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be with Pitocin. But yeah, I remember some contractions where I was just like, woo, that was intense, you know. What else? When that time they gave me Pitocin and I was in Chris's lap, he was rubbing my back with his thumbs and stuff like that, and that was really good counter pressure for contractions and stuff like that. So I love that. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, when came time to start pushing was actually painless. It felt like nothing. I felt like constipation, pushing out constipation had more feeling than actual pushing out a baby. I don't know why, but it felt like nothing. I didn't feel anything, you know what I mean? Only thing I could feel was physically the baby coming out, but that's it. You know, it wasn't anything like, oh my gosh, it's coming in. No, it wasn't bad. It actually felt like relief, because it was like all that pressure that's going on in your uterus and your stomach, when the baby's coming out, the baby's leaving those areas. So it was like, it felt like relief of pressure. So it was actually really good. And then when it came time for the ring of fire, that's when the baby's crowning. I felt the baby crowning, but it didn't feel like anything. It just felt like something's coming out. The baby's crowning, you know. So I feel like I was in a very good state of relaxation, very good state of positive thinking, very good breathing techniques, that I literally felt not that much pain, which was good. And I appreciate that. And after that, the baby was out, I was like, oh, it's done, you know. And also wanting to know the gender of my baby, because we didn't want to know, gave me, you know, motivation to get through it. Being excited to see my baby, see what he looked like, you know, gave me motivation to keep pushing, to go through it. And then when the baby came out, it was like I had this big drop of like, I want to do that again because that felt good. I had a big sensation of just, it's over, it's done, my baby's here. And that was like the best feeling in the world. And then I kept telling myself, I did it, I did it. Like in my mind, I was like, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, yes, I did it, you know? So I was so happy, like I did it, my baby's here, it's a boy, I had my family around with me. Like, it was the best day of my life. It was the best, you know? Like, I went through labor and delivery without any pain medications. I was in the zone. I took control. My baby's here, my husband's there, my mom is there, my dad is there, my sister is there, my best friend's there, my brother's there. Like I could not have asked for a better day. I could not have asked for a better experience. It was the best day. It was the best thing. And after that, after the baby came out, I was like, I could do this again, like right now. If I had another baby to push out right now, I could do it right now. I could do that all over again, like many times over. It was amazing. So I think hypnobirthing, I think the group of women that I was with in the hypnobirthing group on Facebook, for empowering me, for teaching me, for encouraging me. I think my husband for being a great birth partner, for encouraging me, my parents encouraging me. Like, so going into it, I didn't tell anybody that I was doing hypnobirthing besides my husband. Because one other thing about wanting and preparing for hypnobirthing and wanting to do this naturally, you know, a lot of women don't do it naturally. A lot of women have negative or traumatic experiences, and I think a lot of women want to tell you that when you're having a baby, when you're pregnant, like, oh, wait till you deliver was horrible, let me tell you about my horrific delivery experience. And it's naturally women want to just talk about that, you know. But with what I was doing, if I feel like I learned and also experienced that if you tell people that you want to do something and they've done it, but their journey was not a great journey, they'll tell you like, oh, don't even worry about that because it's gonna be bad. Just do this, do that, do that. It was bad for me, you know. So I already knew that I didn't want to tell anybody that I was doing hypnobirthing, because I know naturally the people around me that have had babies, they'll be like, oh, wait till that happens, you're gonna want to do this and want to do that, and it's bad and all this stuff like that. So the only person I told that I was going to do hypnobirthing was Chris, and I told him to make sure you don't talk about it with anybody, and I didn't talk about it hypnobirthing with anybody either. So that helped me keep my mind, you know, at bay. So when I got to the hospital, even at the hospital, when my mom and dad came, they didn't know I was doing it naturally until they got there. And my mom was like, oh, did they give you epidural yet? And I was like, actually, I decided I don't want any pain meds. And my mom was like, what? Wow. And, you know, and then my mom and dad were so supportive in the room, you know. They were so supportive, like so supportive that the time when I almost lost control, I almost was like, what do I do when they said to give me Pitocin? I remember this part. First, my mom said that, telling me that I can do it. She's like, if you can do it. She was like, do this so that when you come out, you can tell people what you did. And also, she wanted to experience what it'd be like to see someone go through it without medication. You know, my mom kept saying like, if you do this, it will be the greatest thing you've ever done, you know. So that was something that really helped me, encourage me. I don't want to start crying. And then the next thing was my dad was there, and there was a time when I almost lost control, and I was like, and there was a time they wanted to give me Nubane, because they were like, you want to give Nubane, you know, to help you. And I remember I paused to think about it, and then my dad, he told me in Igbo in the living room, he was like, you're doing very well. I want to remind you, you're doing very well, and you can do this, so just keep going. Like, he said that to me in Igbo. And then when he told me that, I was like, I can do this. Like, I was like, wow. I think that, like, when that time that he told me that, I think that was when I was like, wow, like, you know, I have people that are supporting me. Are you okay, my baby? You know, people around me that encouraged me and loved me that was really good. So with hypnobirthing, I would also suggest that the people that you want in your delivery room, be mindful of the people that you want there. Yeah, have people you want there, people that will encourage you, people that will keep you in your positive mindset. And don't feel bad if you know, maybe someone in your family would want to be there and you don't want them there. Don't feel bad, because at the end of the day, this is your experience, this is your delivery, this is your birth, you know, and you don't want anyone to put you offset on your mind, make your experience annoying, make your experience, you know, bad or anything like that. So just be mindful of yourself and then everybody that's going to be around you. All right, so I think that's enough. I think I talked enough about it to give you guys a good insight of hypnobirthing. I would tell you to look up hypnobirthing. There's many books on Amazon for hypnobirthing, but I told you guys the ones that I read, and then the Facebook group for the hypnobirth moms and stuff like that. And those are the two of the apps I use. So I'm going to do a separate video, because this video is already too long. I'm going to do a separate video talking about the specific items I put in my hospital bag to help me with labor and delivery, and what a lot of people put in their hospital bags to help them with hypnobirthing, labor and delivery. So I'll do a separate video on that. And then I think that's it. If you have more questions, you can leave them down below, or just look it up online. Watch some videos on hypnobirthing. But other than that, I think that's all I want to say. Make sure you check out my labor and delivery vlog and then my labor and delivery story. And I'll leave that in link down below and on the cards on the screen. And that's it. So see you guys in my next video. Say bye, Cam. Say bye to the peoples. Look at him. Say bye to the peoples. Do I look crazy? Do I sound crazy? Yeah. All right, and I do have some videos on like our morning routine, how I set up his changing station, stuff like that. So I'll have some more videos, more mom videos to come out with, like, you know, life with the baby. Life is so different, but it's amazing and it's fun. It's challenging, but it's a fun challenge because it makes you stronger, you know. So yeah. Okay, let's go eat lunch and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.